So you go Google Maps and you find a Google Street View 360 image thing that you want to use as a HDRI. So use this website down here. Oh, where is it? Use this website called istreetview.com to put in the IRL and download the 360 image, and you pull it in and it's all off axis. It's like this. And so you go in, you look around, and it starts to make you feel sick. Ugh. I had to do this for work just recently, and I got so excited because I figured out how to fix it, and it's really cool and simple. But anyway, essentially, we're going to be fixing an image that looks like this, a HDRI image, a panorama thing, changing it from this to this. Now, if your HDRI image is an actual HDR file format, you can just go online and convert it to a JPEG to do this. But anyway, so there it is, changing this wonkiness, and we're fixing it to be straight. It's a pretty straightforward and simple process. No add-ons, just vanilla Blender. Anyway, let's get right to it. So using this as my example image. I did not use this for work or anything. I used something else. Anyway, so I'm just going to start with a brand new file, and we're going to walk through this. One modified image. No, we don't need to save that. Okay, first things first. We need the sphere to project our texture on. Now, if you've ever tried to map a texture to a sphere before using the UV sphere, sometimes you can get some weird stretching on it. So how you go about displaying textures properly on a sphere, so things like material spheres that you see on, art forums and people's portfolios, Substance Designer has a sphere object that they use inside the program to display your materials on that sphere, or people call it a material ball. If you don't have Substance Designer, you can get a free version of it, or you can get a trial version of it, trial for 30 days. Just go ahead and download it, but in the resources there, they have that sphere FBX. We can use that to project things on. So that's what we're going to do. So I'm going to go to File, Import FBX, and right here, this is where you find it. It's in your C drive, most likely. Program Files, Algorithmic, Substance Designer, Resources, View, 3D, Shapes, and then in that folder, we want to grab the sphere 2 tiles. This is a sphere that tiles twice horizontally, which we'll need to fix. So anyway, let's pull it in. I'm going to turn on screencast keys for you, if that helps. And yeah, we're good. All right, so let's get this in center. So we'll just click this and Shift S, selection to cursor. Since we're going to be using a texture, we want to see that texture. So in solid view, we can just change this to flat and texture. We don't have any texture on it right now. So let's find that texture. Let's make a new material. And in that material, in our base color, we want to grab image texture right there and then open. And I just have mine on my desktop right here. Here it is. Here's the wonky image. And we can see that it's tiling twice. It goes up and down and up and down. So let's fix the tiling on that. So in the UV editing, over here we're going to want to turn this from flat and turn it to flatten texture. Now if we go into edit mode of this, we can look at the UVs and see that it's stretched, twice the amount that it needs to be. So we just need to scale it down half the amount so that it just covers the whole texture and not repeated any texture. Thankfully, our 2D cursor is at 0, 0, and that's where we need it to be. So if we just change our pivot point from, to 2D cursor, that was just, you can just hit period for that. Screencast keys isn't up on this, whatever you call it, workspace. With a pivot point at 2D cursor, we can do SX.5, and that'll just shrink everything down half the amount in the FX axis, which is exactly what we want. Okay, and if we look at our object now, that's good to go. So let's get fixing. We don't have to mess around with UVs past this. UVs are done. Yay! So let's call this sphere, let's call it broken. And so the workflow of this is we're essentially just going to duplicate the sphere. It has all the same UVs and everything, but we're going to rotate the broken one to get that to where it needs to be, and then our target one is going to be, not rotated or anything. It's going to be just straight the way it is. So our UVs are going all, horizontal, and that's basically what we're doing. But if that didn't make sense, then I'll just go ahead and show you. So we want to rotate this sphere so that we don't have this wonkiness. So I'm just going to go ahead and just kind of get that right. That might be okay. If I just go into front view, front orthographic, I can get a better idea because I can see the grid and everything. And if I hit numpad 6, I can go all the way around, hitting 5 again. Yeah, and it may not be perfect, but that seems to be fine. So, I mean, that's definitely usable. That's, if there were any reflections in our render using this as the HDRI, no one's gonna be like, what's all the waves about? That's gone. So, all right. So we've rotated our broken one. So now we can duplicate this and bake it on. But before we do that, as learnt in my previous recording of this video, we want to fix the rotation so that the rotation of this object is all straight. Like if we just look at the wireframe of this, we rotated it off axis to get it to be straight. So we want to pull the other one so that all the geometry is just, straight. The topology is straight. So if I do Alt R on this fix, I'm going to rename this actually. So sphere fix, on the fix one, we want to hit Alt R, and we have that rotated just fine with everything going all the way around. I'm going to hit Alt J in edit mode, get rid of the triangulation there. So there we go. Everything is straight. Okay. So now we have our two objects, and as you can see, we've got some, overlap there. First thing though, we don't want the same material in our fix object. We want to delete that material and use a new, or not delete it, just take it off that object and use a different material with a new texture that will bake to. So you can just hit this copy button actually, this new material right here. It'll just add a new material in that slot. And let's just call this material underscore fix. And then with that fix on there, let's take that texture off. We can hide the broken 2 to make sure that we don't have that. We're going to make a new texture to bake to, but we need to make sure that it's the same dimensions as the one we're baking from, or the original texture. So for me, I have this in my desktop, and if I just put my mouse over the image, it says dimensions of 4000 by 2000, or I could right click it, go into properties, go into details, and then the dimensions are right there. 4000 by 2000. Did I say 100? I meant 1000. 4000 by 2000. Okay. So let's go ahead and make this new texture. Let's just call this HDRI fix. Width is 4000 and the height is 2000. And we don't need any alpha. And then hit OK. Perfect. Our texture's applied. And our UVs should just be, the same thing. Perfect. So now if we have them both on, we still see that overlap there. We want to grab our fix and just scale it up a little bit, so then it's on top of our broken one. All right, I think we're good now. So if we go ahead and we want our fix to be our target. If we click broken and then hold down Control and click our fix, that will become our target. You could do Shift, but Shift doesn't change the active. So if I do fix, if I'm using Shift in the outliner, I want to make sure that I'm selecting my sphere fix first and then holding down Shift to select my broken. So holding down Shift, I need to make sure my active is first. Holding Control changes the active. Okay, and the active should be the lighter orange. Going on. We want to go to our render, change it to cycles, device, GPU compute is faster for me. Go down to bake, and then we change the bake type from combined to diffuse, and we don't want the direct or the indirect lighting stuff, we just want the color. If we do, we want to check select to active, and our ray distance, I'm just going to be safe and put 001 there. It might not matter, I don't know, but we did offset it slightly, so. Alright, then we're ready to hit bake, so hopefully I didn't screw anything up this time. And so my first test with this, when I was figuring this out, the image I used was actually, it baked super fast. It was like 30-60% done. This one though, for some reason, is a lot slower. I'm not sure what that is. They're both JPEGs. I don't know. And it was actually like even the dimensions was actually it was at a smaller scale as well. It was around the same size as this one I'm using now. I don't know why the changes in baking are there. Like I might be missing a setting, but anyway. Okay, baking's almost done now. 99, 100. Awesome. So if we look at our fix object, so here's our broken one, which is all rotated, by the way, right? Oops, not face orientation. By the way, this is hard ups, but if you want wireframe, then you can just come up here to your overlays and hit wireframe there. But anyway, so this is our broken one, so it's off axis, and now we just baked it to this, which is all looking dandy. If we look in our UV editing again, we have our HDRI fix that has, it's all straight. And this is the one, our Wonky one, and we'd made our HDRI fix. Yay! So pat yourself on the back. You did a great job. And so I actually, for this test, or for this example, I worked kind of backwards. So I took a good one and then made it wonky. So that's why it has these, but then it doesn't in this one, is because it's kind of putting it back. So yours is probably going to have the little bumps, or little black bits where our UVs were. So you might want to, like, I don't know, Photoshop that out, or like stretch the image but keep the same dimensions. I don't know, however you want to fix that. But anyway, now you have a HDRI map texture that you can convert from a JPEG. Now you can just save it as whatever. Actually, I wonder if you can actually do save as. What are the file formats? Oh yeah, so you can do a HDRI from here. I actually just used a converter, an online converter, JPEG to HDR. But yeah, just save that as a HDR, and now you have your fixed HDR image. So congratulations. Anyway, I was just super excited that I found out this really simple method. It's awesome to be able to just fix a texture like that. Anyway, just had to geek out and get this out. So if this helps anyone, awesome. If not, then it was really good for me. So thanks for watching. The end. Bye.